Hello, everyone. I'm Mrs. Nunville, and I'm Director of Secondary Schools in the Colonial School District. Some of you may know me as the former principal of Castle Hills. And so I'm really happy to be part of reading from your school's novel, Look Both Ways. I'm going to start on page 173 and continue to about page 181. So follow along with me. The broom dog. A school bus is many things. A school bus is a substitute for a limousine. More class. A school bus is a classroom with a substitute teacher. A school bus is the student's version of a teacher's lounge. A school bus is the principal's desk. A school bus is the nurse's cot. A school bus is an office with all the phones ringing. A school bus is a command center. A school bus is a pillow fort that rolls. A school bus is a tank reshaped. Hot dogs and bologna are the same meat. A school bus is a science lab. Hot dogs and bologna are the same meat. A school bus is a safe zone. A school bus is a war zone. A school bus is a concert hall. A school bus is a food court. A school bus is a court of law, all judges, all jury. A school bus is a magic show full of disappearing acts. Saw someone in half. Pick a card, any card. Pass it to the person next to you. He like you, she like you, KISSI, SSIPPI is only funny on a school bus. A school bus is a stage. A school bus is a stage play. A school bus is a spelling bee, a speaking bee, a get your hand out my face bee, a your breath smell like sour turnips bee, a you don't even know what a turnip is bee. Maybe not, but I know what a turnip is, and your breath smell all the way turned up bee. A school bus is a bumblebee, buzzing around with a bunch of stingers on the inside of it. Windows for wings that flutter up and down like the windows inside Chinese restaurants and post offices in neighborhoods where school buses are spaceships. A school bus is a book of stamps, passing mail through windows. Notes in the form of candy wrappers telling the street something sweet came by. Notes in the form of sneaky middle fingers. Notes in the form of fingers pointing at the world zooming by. A school bus is a paintbrush painting the world a blurry brushstroke. A school bus is also wet paint, good for adding an extra coat, but it will dirty you if you lean against it, if you get too comfortable. A school bus is a reclining chair in the kitchen. Nothing cool about it, but makes perfect sense. A school bus is a dirty fridge. A school bus is cheese. A school bus is a ketchup packet with a tiny hole in it, left on a seat. A plastic fork, knife, spoon. A paper tube around a straw. That straw will puncture the lid on things, make the world drink something with some fizz and fight. Something delightful and uncomfortable. Something that will stain and cause gas. A school bus is a fast food joint with extra value and no food. Order taken. Take a number. Send a text to the person sitting next to you. There is so much trouble to get into. Have you ever thought about opening the back door? My mother not home till 5:30. I can't. I got dance practice at 4. A school bus is a talent show. I got dance practice right now on this bus. A school bus is a microphone, a beat machine, a recording booth. A school bus is a horn section, a rhythm section, an orchestra pit, a balcony to shoot paper ball three pointers from. A school bus is a basketball court, a football stadium, a soccer field, sometimes a boxing ring. A school bus is a movie set. Actors, directors, producers, script, scenes, settings, motivations, action, cut. Your fake tears look real. These are real tears. But I thought we were making a comedy. A school bus is a misunderstanding. A school bus is a masterpiece that everyone pretends to understand. A school bus is the mountain range behind Mona Lisa, the Sphinx's nose, an unknown wonder of the world, an unknown wonder to Canton Post, who heard bus riders talk about their journeys to and from school. But to Canton, a school bus is also a cannonball, a thing that almost destroyed him, almost made him motherless. His mother is the crossing guard at Latimer Middle School and has been the crossing guard there since before he was born. He grew up running around their house wearing her neon vest, blowing her whistle. He learned to say stop before he learned to say potty. Hand up to halt, then hand out for the wave through. To Canton, crossing guards, especially his mother, seemed to have special powers. They were able to stop moving things, able to slow traffic, able to make a safe way for people to cross from one side to another. Their vests were like capes, and their whistles blew some kind of magic tone that forced drivers to hit brakes. That's what Canton always thought, until a year ago when a little blue ball went bouncing off the sidewalk into the street, and a boy the size of a big baby named Kenzie Thompson went running after it. Canton's mom had turned her back just for a moment, a split second, and by the time she realized what was happening, Kenzie was charging across the crosswalk, a school bus heading right toward him. There wasn't enough time to blow the whistle, so Canton's mother, Miss Post, went chasing after Kenzie, who, once he realized a bus was coming, froze in the middle of Portal Avenue. The bus hit the brakes. The scream of metal and smoke kicking up from the burning rubber filled the air as Miss Post threw her entire body into Kenzie, knocking him forward, the bus turning just enough to avoid hitting Kenzie, but not enough to avoid slightly bumping her. But a slight bump from a bus ain't so slight, but a broken shoulder and a bruised hip is much better than a burial. But the whole thing was completely devastating to Canton. Canton always waited for his mother after school, killing time by helping Mr. Munch, the custodian, do custodial things. Actually, mostly Canton just sat around the front of the building, listening to Mr. Munch complain about things like the school bathrooms. Why can't y'all hit the toilet, Canton? I mean, the hole is huge, and somehow y'all figure out how to get pee all over the seat, all over the floor, all over the walls. How? But on the day Canton's mother was hit by a bus, the conversation about why kids throw pennies on the floor like pennies don't spend was cut short by Jasmine Jordan and Terrence Jumper, who came running back into the school screaming about it. Miss Post got hit by a school bus, a sentence Canton never expected to hear, never wanted to hear. And hearing it was like hearing the world's longest whistle blow, shrill, shredding his eardrums. His skin was crawling, felt like it was changing color from brown to yellow, school bus yellow. By the time Canton and Mr. Munch got outside, sirens were already blaring down Portal. Miss Post was back to work in a week, whistle in mouth, vest strapped on, altered only by the sling holding her shoulder in place. She went back to normal. She had to. Said it was just part of the job. But not Canton. He didn't go back to normal. The afternoon his mother returned to the corner to guide students across the street, Mr. Munch found Canton in the bathroom after school, sitting on the nasty tile floor in the corner, his head pressed against his knees. Canton, what are you doing in here? Mr. Munch asked, realizing he wasn't actually using the bathroom. And when Canton lifted his head up, Mr. Munch could see that he'd been crying. He could also see that Canton's chest was pumping, heaving like it was hard for him to breathe, like it would break open. Mr. Munch got down on the floor with him, squatted beside him, and talked him through some breathing exercises. Come on, Canton. Count to 10 with me. 1, 2, 3, and then, now let's go back to 1. 10, 9, 8, and eventually Canton could breathe, could talk, could stand. Mr. Munch walked him outside. When they made it to the corner where Miss Post was working, Canton wrapped his arms around his mother and squeezed, held her so tight that she winced, her shoulders still a sack of broken bone. Okay, I'm okay. You're okay. We're okay, she chanted in his ear, trying to figure out how to get him to let go so she could do her job. but also not wanting to let him go because he was also her job. Mr. Munch patted Canton on his shoulder, but realizing there was no way this boy would let go of his mother, Mr. Munch decided he would take over for her, step into the street, stick his fingers in his mouth, and whistle even louder than the whistle around Miss Post's neck. He put his hand up and yelled at the cars, "I'm telling y'all right now, you hit me and I'm hitting you back." And once the traffic stopped, he yelled for all the waiting students to get on across the street. Then he turned back toward the stopped cars and puffed his chest, almost bucking, daring them to move. The next day, Mr. Munch met Canton outside of his last class of the day, Mr. Devonzo's social studies class. In his hand was a big push broom. "How you feeling?" "I'm okay." "Still got the jitters?" Canton nodded, just slightly, trying to hide his embarrassment. "Want to take a walk with me? I want to give you something." Cannon and Mr. Munch sauntered the halls of the school, pushing dust and hair that looked like dust, and coins and candy wrappers, and a random sock and drawstrings and loose braids, and who knows what else, as all the other students bustled around, eventually funneling through the double doors into the outside world, pushing, brooming, Mr. Munch talking. When my daughter Winnie went off to college, my wife got so nervous that she'd call Winnie every single day, multiple times a day. And whenever Winnie wouldn't answer, Zena would just lose it, Mr. Munch started. "Zena's your wife?" "Yeah," Mr. Munch grinned. "Best person I ever known. Kinda gotta be to deal with a man that comes home every day smelling like bleach and urine. But she's been through a lot. Seen a lot of the world when she was young, and it made her terrified for our daughter. Made her anxious about every step Winnie took away from us. What if something happens to her? What if she needs us? What if she's in danger?" Zena would go on with these kinds of questions, up all night, sick with fear all day. And what'd you say? Nothing. But what I did was buy her a dog. A dog? Yep. Canton and Mr. Munch stopped at the custodian closet. The old man pushed the pile of middle school debris into the corner, then pulled out a million keys, flipping through them like pages of a book. Not because she needed something else to care for. No dog can take the place of our baby girl. But I read this thing about emotional support animals. What's that? Well, okay, first, I should clarify that my daughter called me and told me about them without my wife knowing. And then I read about them myself. Basically, it's like having a dog to make you feel better. Finally, he picked the right key and opened the closet door. I mean, what's better than a dog, right?